Om Tat Sat. Satsang means we discuss on life and truth. Here, we do not pretend. Here, we open up ourselves. Maybe we are mistaken about ourselves. That doesn't matter. Ultimately, you will speak out what you understand. And understanding also includes your mistaken identity. You don't have to be true here. You just have to be natural here. And it includes your frustrations, your misunderstanding, also your clarity. So satsang always intends that you go and you try to open up yourself as naturally as possible. Usually, this happens under the guidance of an enlightened person because he has the remedy of all the problems of life. But we lack that coincidence. It is not possible to be in association with an enlightened person all the time. It's a great fortune. But to be looking for that and uh, to be pretending, well, I organize something, I organize a congress where we try to invite truth is never a bad idea. So we are trying to go ahead with this kind of things. It's been old culture in India, and I don't say India, it's very limited thought. It's been an old culture of humanity. When the world was connected, there was no barrier of nationality. World was very well connected because humans believed human life as one life. But everything changes, devastation happens, so we are not that much associated. Still, in the heart of people that lives always. In our first meeting, we had discussed a couple of things. It was mostly recognizing our own individual situation, and that may include various things, and why this humanity is not going through a problematic time, how we can recognize it. And today we may discuss a little bit on the idea of finding a strength within oneself. Everybody has his own opinions. Either they are intellectuals or they do not have any idea of deeper understanding. Still, everybody has some reflections. And our imaginative concept of something may be true, to some extent, but ultimately the wisdom is the with the main thing. And wisdom is something that you deliver from a very super conscious state. That state which is not maligned by any low feelings, any low understanding. It is free from all barriers. And those wisdoms have also been explained. When in life problem sets in, we try to show our reflections because we are in problems. We are in difficult situations. We try to show up. And sometimes, if we are a little bit wiser enough, we look for the solutions. But the question comes, do we really understand the problems? What it is? For example, one day I had some stomach issue. So always when the stomach issue happens, people understand, oh, I ate something very bad last night in the hotel restaurants. They always uh, associate this with this. But it may not be true all the time. It may not all the time. Because the problem also has happened because you have eaten at home. So what we consider as problem, what we consider as the cause of the problem, according to me, may be different. But according to expert in this field, could be different. So if you look at life as something very essential, and when in life some kind of complication happens, this has to be ascertained, evaluated on the standing of the words of enlightened people. And if you look at their idea, they always say problems in life not begins from the time when you understand the problem. There's the problem, or problem has started. Problem in life has always been there. It is just now you are unable to handle it. You think it's a problem. Let's say, for example, just very simple. For example, let's say, how many of us practice yoga? If I put a question, the whole world is now going through some kind of situation, but how many of us make up our mind? Well, let's see. I begin my practice of yoga every day. Still, not so many people do it. And even if they do it, how many of us do it properly? Or even if they do it, how many of us essentially evaluate it's going to, or it's just somehow going to get make them get rid of some complications? Because the sincere practice, guided practice, or the purity of the practice is somehow little bit away from our experience for whatever reasons. So very simple, essential thing here is we have to evaluate ourselves from the understanding of wise people. And they say life that we have, it itself a problem when individual life is just going after satisfying their own desires. You want to become this, I want to become this, I want to have that, and you want to have that. This is our normal chase. In this normal chase of various things, we distribute our efficiencies into establishing a corporation, into building a friendship, into building a relationship, into building various things. We distribute our attentions, our strength. Do we really require it? Of course we require it. How much? What extent? And let's say at this moment I'm talking and I fall down from the chair. Let's say nobody's in my room, nobody's around me, and something happens to me and I fall down from the chair, which is happening nowadays because it's COVID and Corona happenings. That's happening. People are just collapsing, standing there is falling. Immediately, I have seen people standing, talking, and they're collapsing. Oh, I can't. This is happening. At that moment of time, who is helping somebody? In this loneliness, nobody around, if anything happens. The thing is, the very thing is that our distribution of all our efficiencies into the change of our desires, into the fulfillment of our own things that we think are very essential for our life, has already weakened us. The agitation, last time I said the unfulfilled state had already caused some level of COVID influence in us. What is happening very physically in our body nowadays. That is one part. It's just immediate and it's been for 1 year or 2 years. It will also pass. But this constant weakening faculty that is triggering within us all the time, and that is the uncontrolled, unimaginable, and immeasurable chase of the fulfillment of our desires have already weakened us very deep within. And this is very deep in this new generation. If you look at your parents and their idea of desires, fulfilling desires, and if you look at yourself, And if you now look at the new kids now, you see it's gradually growing and growing. So we don't have to be worried about this present COVID. Apart from this epidemic, we already have a silent epidemic acting within us all the time. And that is also going into our children. 1 hour before, one of my cousins was forcing me to buy a computer and mobile, which I don't think is necessary for him. But he was trying to push it because he thinks he can't study without computer. I say it's a very strange thought that you have got. You are only 10 years young boy. Why can't you study without a computer? This idea that I can't grow without a device, I can't live without a device, is devastating. In a small child, this is propping up. This is developing a lot. It's a very deep weakening tendency that is happening. Now, the idea of finding a strength is always going in association with this concept of satisfying our various and endless desires. And that is not try to achieve from outside something, but cutting our association, cutting our senses from going towards their sense objects. This is the most important idea of strengthening oneself. I tell you one experience of life, very simple one experience of life. I used to believe when I met first time Westerners, I thought, okay, going in the disco, I was taken to a disco dance party and there were lots of people dancing. So it was middle of night almost, which is very unusual for me. So I went just to see Western party. I went to see. And lots of young people, and they were dancing and trying to show up the experience. And in the middle of this countless, I would say maybe 100 people were there, were mostly couples and drinking and dancing. So I couldn't associate with this in my mind. So, but I was physically there. So I took a sofa. On that sofa, I sat like an alien in this huge group of people. They are dancing, and I was an alien watching them like this. What they are doing, how they are doing. And in my mind, I'm talking about something 6 years back or 7 years back, I'm telling you, from now, or 8 years back. And then I was thinking, they are doing it because they feel happiness in that. And I am here just to be polite. But I feel tired because I want to sleep. And they are happy because they are doing it. Anyways, I spent long time over there. In the morning when I woke up, I slept late. Afternoon, I asked my friend who took me over there, how are you? Oh, I'm too tired because late night I danced. I said, I am too tired because I'm polite. I became polite to you and I went to that party. So that party which you thought will give you pleasure gave you tiredness. And the party which was totally alien for me also gave me tiredness. Tell me, what was the importance of going over there? You got tiredness, I got tiredness. And I am very sure if I had slept on time, I would feel peace. So, why I am telling this story is, or this thing in my life that happened, I am just simply telling you this, that what we consider something fulfilling your desires is one idea that you have, but you also have to evaluate at the same time that after enjoyment of that thing, what will be the outcome? To fulfill that, to achieve that is one idea, but after achievement, what will be the consequence of that? That also has to be thought. So fulfilling our desires may lead, or most of the time, 99% time, it leads towards much weakenings. In a very short term, I would say, the idea of strengthening oneself is limiting your desires. and I simply put an extra word. Let this desire be into rest for some time. Put your needs at the top. Replace the word desires by the word need. I don't say I want this. Try to say I need this. It is more strengthening. You have desires. I do have desires. Much desires than you think you may have. But I always know in this chase of that, what will happen to me is very clear. Always, at least I try to see, okay, if it is really important for me, do I really need this? And if it really suffocates me, because if it leads to suppression of desires, it may also be dangerous for me. Then somehow, sometimes I also become little bit childish because I am unable to handle that. So long as you are able and you are aware, develop this idea of strengthening, not by taking pills, not by searching outside somewhere, not by visiting somewhere, because this may also cost some money and this may further weaken you, financial strength. But just sincerely, intellectually see, discriminate what is important for you, what is necessary for you, what is needful to you. So instead of, I repeat my word, instead of saying what I want, always say, always try to develop, okay, what do I need? Is it needful for me? Do I really need it? Is it important for me? Can there be some alternative for this? Or can I go without this? And if you one day, just one day in your life, if you do it like this, you will realize much of your pressure in life will be less. Much of the weakenings that you feel every day will be less. And not all the time, at least some moments of your life can be invested into this. And it is the cheapest method, the idea of strengthening. The idea of strengthening, this is a thought, the idea of strengthening, how to strengthen oneself. And the one simple idea, the first idea, and the very simple idea is by replacing desires, with needs. Just I replace my desires. I place the needs ahead of my desires. Or I don't look at desires. I look at my needs. Needs and human needs in all the places, they are almost the same. Very one simple thing, and that is very simple thing I'm telling you, very simple method. How many dress you have? If you look at in your drawers and just see how many dress you have. Count it just for one day. Count it how many dress you have. Winter, summer, you know, spring, all kind of dresses that you have, and so many suits. So look at them. How many of them do you really need? How many of them do you really put on every year? Or do you really put on in at least 5 years? Or do you really need them on daily basis? So the dress which you use every day is the dress you require. And the dress that you may need in 5 years sometimes is not needful to you. And the dress which you use once in a year, sometimes maybe too many for you. You can keep one dress that you use only 1 month in a year, but you have 10, 20 of that dress. And if you look at that and you evaluate their money, you will see they are thousands of euros. And that is too many in many people's house that I know, even if I haven't visited them, all of them. It's one thing I'm telling.
Simplify. Minimize.
Simplify,
Yeah.
minimize, cutting off. That's not important method.
Mm.
Distraction of mind. Distraction of mind, trust me, my friend. Distraction of mind weakens. If you have to understand one experience more, I tell you, I slept very late because of classes. I had too many classes on a certain day. And every day when I sleep after 11, I never sleep deep. I have a shallow sleep. And when I wake up, my head is heavy. And then again, next day, I have the similar classes. So in the afternoon, I had an extra class. There were a group of students in the yoga hall already present, and I went inside and I was too heavy. Well, you teach, you get some money. So you don't always get a student. So I had to get some money from them. So they could give me. I'm telling you honestly. But I sat for teaching and I was too tired in my mind. Why? I was scattered. Then I said, I want to speak in this class. I will only practice. And Jacob, for your information, I did Tratak, putting my eyeballs like a statue still. I was just focusing on Tratak for the whole session of 40 minutes. It was the longest Tratak I had ever done. For 40 minutes, I had put my eyes like a statue, looking at a point in the mirror, and I asked all of them to do the same. In 40 minutes, the whole of my brain was different, like I had changed my brain. I'm not saying that I have replaced the loss of sleep through Tratak, but I had greatly counterbalanced that day. I remember very much. And I know very well from my heart that distraction of mind it always weakens, and we are naturally distracted.
And boom, 1 point of focus.
Yeah.
That 15 or 14 minutes.
Biologically, Tratak stimulates the pineal gland. Biologically. And pineal glands become active, it releases melatonin, it goes in the blood, and you have deep rest. To have a deeper sleep, according to yoga, mind must reach to, awareness must reach to the causal layer of the awareness, then all of the body. Then only you will sleep deep. So somehow it counterbalance. What I am telling you that distraction happens through various ways. I will take up some of the topic why distraction happens. Things that lead to distraction.
Finding a way for you to take your energy and your distractions and focus it in on things that is a higher pleasure, whether that's surfing or whether that's reading or making artwork or your business or whatever that may be. It's a different type of pleasure.
The thing is, to some extent, we need to satisfy them, to some extent, because this may lead to suppression and it may further become volcanic within you. So, something you can't live without that. You can't live without. For example, let's say one idea of like sexual thoughts, sexual desires, you can't suppress them. Hunger that happens every day, you can't suppress that. Thirst, you can't suppress. Oh, I'm thirsty, I can suppress it. No, no, no. You are thirsty, you need water now. Or even if you say, I desire water, you have to fulfill water. You know? So that's how you have to see it. Something you can't avoid. That is like it has to be with you. It's very important. That's how you have to see. It also requires some level of wisdom to discriminate, to see through. It requires some level of one point. But that's one idea we can develop in our life, include in our life. Yes. Something you want to say?
I have a question.
Yes.
So, how do you know if you're asking out for your needs that you know, or how do you feel it is the right one you're asking for?
It's a little bit deeper question. And on the surface, it appears sometimes very easy. I give you a simple example, very simple example. Your child goes to school in the winter. He does not have any idea of winter because he hasn't faced it. He's too child. And he will never tell you he feels cold. Even if he feels cold, because he doesn't know what is cold. He hasn't got the idea of experience, cold and heat. But as a mother, you know, he essentially needs a jacket, and you will provide him jacket. That may he think, oh, I have a jacket and I have this and that. But you think, my son, you only have what you need. Now, you become overkind and buy a jacket and jacket and jacket and jacket. And then first you spoil yourself because you become extravagant. You put unnecessary money. And then slowly you give the same impurity to the child also. That's how association also makes it possible. But exactly the idea, what is the essential desire, essential need, is always very clear. Maintaining your body, maintaining your life, fulfilling your basic needs. Then developing some ability to be helpful to others. There is nothing more than that we require in life. You go, you become the American president. You won't require anything more than this. Yes, what we require more than this is meditation. That's it. Anybody in the world is not beyond that. Nobody is exempt from this idea. Om Tat Sat.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rohit.
Welcome. Thank you, sir.
Have a beautiful day.
Thank you,
So
sir.
everybody, lovely to meet you, Janelle and Anastasia.
Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you.
Thanks so much,
Family.
guys. Goodbye.
I definitely will be a part for the next
Yeah,
one.
thank you, welcome.